What's up, y'all? Hope you all have been having a good day, productive day. My name is Tony. I'm coming from the DMV area. This channel was created for intellectuals, Nigerians in the diaspora, Africans in the diaspora that want to be in a space that just talk about topics related to business, investing, education on Africa and particularly Nigeria. I'm not going to be on too much today. Today was a very busy day for myself. And I did manage to get some reading in. Very important to read as much as you can. There's so much information and knowledge in books. Just growing up, my parents would say, oh yeah, you got to read, you got to read your book. But it was always like textbooks, and it just wasn't anything, I wanted to do. Even when I try to read just like kiddie books, my parents would actually get mad at me. They were like, what is this? What are you going to learn from it? But as I got older, I realized how much value you can achieve by just reading books. I'll give you an example. I'm running my own business. So, starting off, you don't have that much money. Typically when you start your own business, and what everyone says, oh, you need mentorship, you need advice from others that's been in the field for a long time. I just didn't have the money. So what I saw as another option is reading books, because there's other people that wrote about some of the areas in business that I'm trying to learn. So rather than me go through all the hassle of making mistakes and stuff like that, it saves me time and money to read the experience that someone else had, and then I can try to implement it into what I'm doing. So very important. So the book I was reading today is actually a book by Kingsley Moghalu. I hope I'm saying his name right. He's actually one of the candidates that's running for Nigerian presidency coming. I think it's next Saturday that it's going to happen. It's the 16th? Man, I hope I'm not wrong on that, but here's his book. Very good book. I hope you all can see it all clearly. Build, Innovate, Grow. I met him actually in DC. He came over when he started his campaign to run for presidency, and I read a little bit about him, and his background is very extensive. I won't say, if you want to know about him, then of course definitely look him up for yourself if you're really interested. I don't like to give too much information on guys. I just feel like, if you're really interested, you'll look it up yourself. So that's his book. I'm sure you can find, if you Google his name, you can find it on his website, or you can go to Amazon and find the book there. But there was a section in his book that really stood out to me. This is the second time I'm reading his book, but I'm trying to find the chapter that it was called, and it was called, let me show you, hope you can see it, the Nigerian Diaspora. And that was one of the things that intrigued me about him. He was the first candidate that I saw that was really big on reaching the Nigerians in the diaspora and really connecting with us. He understands that we have skills that we can bring home to the country and can really elevate the position that Nigeria is in now. Previous candidates, they seem to forget about all the Nigerians that live abroad, even though they grew up in Nigeria. He also talks about how it's it's a shame that Nigerians that grew up in Nigeria, go abroad for better education, are not able to vote in these elections. And it's really unfortunate, because what you're doing is only allowing the group of Nigerians that are not as I would say politically mature to pick their candidates. And we keep seeing the same thing. Candidates that are just garbage, candidates that don't mean anything, are not bettering Nigeria. They're just taking advantage of Nigeria. So, he was just one of the candidates that, I first saw that really was trying to reach out to the Nigerians, especially the youth, Nigerians in the diaspora to make that collaboration and really get the conversation started about us contributing our resources, not just monetary, but our intellect and our time over to Nigeria. But of course, we need incentives to go over there, and he explains all this in his book. I urge you just to take a look and get it for yourself. Maybe I think on Amazon they can give you like a preview of the book, but you can go from there. But I'm gonna start from one paragraph. I'm just gonna read a little bit, and then I'll kind of just give my opinion on it. I'm not trying to read too much, but it's coming out of chapter 11 of the Nigerian Diaspora, and this is what he writes in it. For Nigeria to prosper, we must truly become a knowledge society. This is why the skills and experience of our diaspora are critical to our progress. The necessary incentives, conditions, and structures must be put in place to repatriate our global talent. It is not enough for Nigerian governments to pay lip service to the importance of our diaspora and make surface appeals to the sense of patriotism of foreign-based Nigerians. Nigerian diaspora themselves have three important incentives to collaborate with a federal or state government in Nigeria that is truly serious about their potential role in national development. When I went to, he had a meeting where he was just, I guess a panel, and people would ask him questions. And I was really interested in what he had to say, and I had my own questions, and I had some tough questions for him. But so these are the three things he's saying us Nigerians in the diaspora like to see. First, most Nigerians in the diaspora want to return home given the right conditions and incentives. Although globalization and the global mobility that goes with it has weakened this reality, with many Nigerian immigrants opting to dig in and even seek domestic leadership roles in their host communities, as we have seen most remarkably in the Nigerian diaspora in the United Kingdom, the sentiment of homesickness remains prevalent. This is largely because of the immigrants' status as racial minorities in their adopted countries, or xenophobic tendencies in the host countries. Second, even where a Nigerian abroad has no real desire to return to live in Nigeria, he or she wants to be proud of our country. They want the country to have the kind of leadership, governance, and economic growth that will give them reasons to hold up their heads with pride wherever they may be. The situation in an immigrant's home country affects his or her standing in the society of his or her adopted country. This is why in early 2018, allegations that U.S. President Donald Trump described Haiti and African countries as shithole countries set off a diplomatic incident between African leaders and the Trump administration. However offensive the alleged slur is, incidents like this can only occur because the political leaders of several, but certainly not all, African countries are incompetent and ineffective, and so do not command the respect of their citizens and foreign leaders. Third, Nigerians in diaspora should want to reduce or end the remittances they send home. This can only happen if Nigeria is fundamentally repositioned with the creation of an inclusive and booming economy. Indian diaspora, as well as those of China and Israel, have played transformational roles in the rise of their respective countries to greatness, mostly through a transfer of skills they acquired in Western countries. Nigerian diaspora face steep obstacles to replicating such a scenario in our country. The first obstacle is a mental block and disconnect between Nigerians, political leaders, and their compatriots in the diaspora. Although a few elected Nigerian state governors have had diaspora experiences, no president of Nigeria has lived and worked abroad as an immigrant professional. They have all been predominantly homegrown in their professional and social experiences, and so are simply unable to connect with the aspirations and pains of the Nigerian diaspora, unable to connect emotionally or even rationally with their diaspora compatriots. Our political leaders have been unable to prioritize the potential contributions of diaspora Nigerians to national development. An important obstacle to our diaspora returning home, especially to roles in this public sector, is that of low pay relative to the more decent remuneration they often earn abroad. Returning Nigerians in the diaspora also frequently face cultural resentment in public sector workplaces from homegrown compatriots, but have fared better as entrepreneurs. The culture problem is a double-edged sword. There have been returnees who, instead of making a positive impact in their new sphere, go native, falling prey to the reigning ethos of corruption and other societal vices. The most important obstacle to diaspora return and a potentially transformative role, however, is the absence of medium to long-term strategy and institutions to do the sustained long-term works of diaspora engagement. So like I said in my other videos, even the past video that I did, it's really important for us in the diaspora to make our contributions to the country at home. We have a lot of skills that we have, and what I see is we just contribute our best to these companies that are already doing well and even exploiting us to a certain point. You might think that your salary is good or whatever, but you're not getting paid what you're worth. And at the end of the day, you're not helping your community. So why not be in a position where you get paid what you're worth, or you work for yourself, whatever the situation is, and at the same time you're helping your country at home. Just like what Kingsley said in this book, we want to go around the world with our heads up high saying, yeah, I'm Nigerian. It's not just me talking and trying to big up myself. No, I have a home country where if something is to happen to me in this country, then I got my Nigerian government that's gonna see that, get word of it and export me out of that hectic situation. So when it comes just to the U.S., if there is an American citizen abroad in some country and they're facing turmoil, usually they go to the embassy contacts the U.S. and they try to find a way to get their U.S. citizen back. It's because that's the protection, that's the role that the American government has made to its people, even though it has a lot of its problems. We all know this, but when it comes to the citizens, they got to look at, if you're going to be the biggest and baddest country in the world, you better damn well have some protections for your citizens when they go abroad. So people usually don't like to mess around with U.S. citizens and treat them dirty, because they already know, okay, you got the U.S. government that can potentially come at you. Well, that's what we want to have for Nigeria. We want to have it so that maybe not so much in the U.S., but in the U.K., in China for sure, even the xenophobia that's going on in South Africa a little bit. We want to have it so if you're messing with Nigerians abroad, then you're going to be in for a rude awakening, because Nigeria's government is going to come and have our back, and that's really important. I like the fact that he brought up that there's no president that has lived abroad, so that they don't understand what Nigerians in the diaspora go through. That's really important. They can't really relate, and so it's not high on their priority list. If you have a president that has at least been well traveled, their thought process is different. They understand the money that it takes to go from place to place. They understand the racism that they face from different countries. They understand being looked at as less than. They have a better understanding for it. Now it's on their mind more so. So they know, okay, we got to start changing policies. We got to do something to really help each other out. But that's all I want to say. I wanted to try to keep it short. I didn't want to say too much. Definitely, once again, get this book. Just read about it. Even if he doesn't win the presidency, there's some good information in here that can teach you a little bit more about Nigeria if you was born here in the U.S. or if you're just born in the U.K., don't really go back, or never been back. It's some information that talks about all sectors of Nigeria that even me, I didn't even know about. I didn't know it was that bad. But it also creates, at least for the entrepreneurs, the people that are really forward thinking, it creates that drive to find the solutions, and also working with other people that are not necessarily in your industry. So with me, you know, being a engineering background, physics background, a property inspector, I'm talking with people that are in agriculture. I'm talking with people that are in finance. You know, just people I don't really come in contact with every day. I go out and search for other Nigerians, because you never know. It could be that one day where, you know, I see an opportunity, and I just say, hey, you know what? We all been talking. I see this. Y'all take a look at it. Maybe we can do something that can benefit all of us, and the country, of course. You know, this is all for the country of Nigeria. Maybe we can go all come together, bring our intellect, also mentor the people that are over there, create some type of business, something, you know, program, whatever, and, you know, just start our own economic revolution. So appreciate y'all sticking around and listen to me read this book. Definitely like, comment, share, subscribe to my channel. We're really trying to grow this channel. It's still new. Started it this year, and trying to get more content out. I'm trying to, you know, put more information out so you all can see it, and of course, just making that sector in the YouTube space that is focused on something more progressive, business orientated, instead of just entertainment. So definitely check out my other videos. Hope you all have enjoyed the rest of your day. If it's nighttime, enjoy your night, morning time, wherever you are in the world. Appreciate you listening. Follow my channel, and of course share this video.